Good evening, viewers. Welcome back to my channel on the geopolitics. Today, let's decode why the US dollar is the dominant currency in the world. See, no one talks about euros, yen, or pound. You will be surprised to know that US dollar comprises of 89% of all the foreign exchange trade. We need to understand three things: Bretton Woods, OPEC, and the petrodollar system. I'll take you back to July 1944 when the Second World War was underway. Representatives from 44 countries had gathered at Bretton Woods in United States. Five countries played the biggest role, that is the USA, UK, Soviet Union, China, and France. The conference produced three historic outcomes that still shape the world today. First, the International Monetary Fund or IMF. Second, the World Bank. And third, the Bretton Woods monetary system. Under this system, most currencies were linked to the US dollar, and the dollar itself was linked to the gold. Foreign central banks could exchange dollars for gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce. For our Indian listeners, 1 ounce is 31.1 grams. That is approximately 2.67 tolas, because 1 tola is 11.66 grams and not 10 grams. This arrangement gave enormous credibility to the dollar. Countries held dollars because they trusted America, which could convert these dollars into gold whenever demanded. Can you imagine, in 1949, America held 75% of the world's gold, that is 21,800 tons, and now it is just 88,133 tons. Now, this extraordinary concentration of gold gave credibility to the Bretton Woods system. Now, let's analyze why there was so much of gold with USA. During the 1960s, America was spending heavily on the Vietnam War, troops in Europe, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. It was also operating naval fleets across the globe, and Cold War strategy against the Soviet Union was also being implemented. Now, this entailed enormous expenditure and resulted in large outflow of dollars overseas, which in fact eventually alarmed countries such as France. French President Charles de Gaulle suspected that there were far more dollars circulating globally than the gold available in American vaults. So France, therefore, it started converting dollar reserves into gold and physically shipping the gold back to the France. It was roughly about 3,000 tons. Other countries also began doing the same. Due to this, America's gold reserves started falling rapidly. America's gold reserves fell from about 20,000 tons in 1950s to nearly 8,100 tons in 1971. And eventually President Richard Nixon concluded that the USA could no longer honor the unlimited gold conversions. So on 15th August 71, he suspended the dollar convertibility into gold. This became famous as the Nixon shock. Now let's see how OPEC got into the picture. OPEC was founded on 14 September 1960 in Baghdad by five countries, that is Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. Oil producing countries wanted greater control over production and pricing rather than allowing the Western oil companies to dictate the terms. So today OPEC controls roughly about 30% of the global oil production, and in case you consider OPEC plus production, which includes Russia and several other producers, that accounts for about 40%. Now, how did the USA use OPEC to its advantage? I would say it is a mutually beneficial arrangement, and the turning point was the Yom Kippur War of October 1973. After the war, America deepened its relationship with major Gulf producers, especially Saudi Arabia. And USA provided security guarantees, military protection, advanced weaponry, technology, and access to the American financial market, while Gulf producers provided oil but in dollars. So it was a strategic bargain in which both sides benefited. Though the United States, you can say, it emerged as the biggest long term winner in this issue. Now, India, Japan, Europe, and even China, I would say, it required dollars to buy oil. So, this came to be known as the petrodollar system. Now, let's see recently as to why the UAE, United Arab Emirates, has left OPEC. UAE has invested massively in expanding its oil production capacity. It can produce around 5 million barrels per day, and UAE has invested billions of dollars to raise the production capacity in the last few years to nearly 5 million barrels per day, as I said. But OPEC quotas limited it to roughly 3.5 million barrels. So UAE effectively had over 1.5 million barrels per day sitting idle. So UAE wanted a larger market share. India will certainly benefit from this improved energy or oil availability and potentially at a much more competitive pricing. Many thanks for watching. We'll keep tracking for you the developments in geopolitics. Stay tuned to my channel. To the point.